See, all you needed was Joel Embiid and Paul George back, and all is right in the basketball world as the Sixers destroy, and I mean destroy, the Chicago Bulls. Final score 157-137. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show here live from the Xfinity studio, along with Derek. I'm Devon. Bree, the president of basketball operations, putting together a great team where she can put up 157 points. And we are presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. And that's all that matters with this basketball team. If they can field their entire group, man, this is where they pull you back in, everybody. Welcome on into the show. We're starting.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in,
man. We're starting right on time because we figured the game was already out of hand. Let's get started. So we're going to welcome everybody in as everyone starts to trickle in. The alerts are going off, the bells and all, right? Everything is happening to let you know that it is, in fact, showtime as you get the alert that we are starting this show. But this was we didn't know what to expect with this one as they got things going. We felt like, hey, sometimes Joel Embiid takes a little bit of time in getting himself and his legs underneath him. Other times he jumps right out there and he really starts cooking. And same for Paul George. We weren't sure how they were going to play off of VJ Edgecombe after having so much time off, where Joel Embiid has not played since January 26th. Paul George has not played since the 29th. And we had no idea. Giving credit to Chicago for the work that they have done, even though they are out of the play-in in the playoffs. They are a team that competes. They gave the Houston Rockets a really good run the other night. They defeated them on Monday. You cannot sleep on the Chicago Bulls. Well, the Sixers, all they did was come right out of the gate, hang 38 on them then, 33 in the second quarter, and put up 51 points on the their trouble quarter. They put up 51 points on the Chicago Bulls in the third quarter to break the game wide open and go to a final of 157-137. We're not going to point out that the Bulls scored 53 in the fourth quarter because the game was out of hand.
That was all garbage
Didn't
time.
matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. We're not worried about the defense and giving up that many points at that time. But it was great to see both Embiid and George come back tonight and do what they did. Don't worry, everybody. VJ Edgecombe is not going to get lost in the conversation of those two players coming back because it was really Embiid and Edgecombe, and then George went off later on in the fourth quarter where that's what you wanted to see out of him. Embiid has his, Edgecombe has his. Let Paul George cook for a little bit and then go sit down for the remainder of the game. They are off on Thursday and Friday, not back on the floor until Saturday. Derek, this was something that they just needed something like this.
Forget they.
All right,
I needed this
like
in the
this.
worst way because, look, the last three nights with the VJ were fun. They were fun to watch, picked up some wins. Great, great, great. This was, forget the 157 points, which, by the way, is the most that they've scored in a game since 1970.
Wow.
Forget the 53 points in the third quarter, which, by the way, or 51 points that they scored in the third quarter, which, by the way, ties the second most they've scored in franchise history, the most that they've scored since the 1960s. It was just fun basketball to watch. That was, honestly, some of the best ball movement I've ever seen from this team. It felt like vintage San Antonio Spurs at times, and a lot of it started with the big fella. And, people at times will, he holds the ball too long, he dominates the ball, takes too many shots, yada, yada, yada. But when he is rolling well, first of all, he forces double teams like nobody else on the Sixers can. And that includes Tyrese Maxey. Nobody gets doubled like Joel does. And when he's going well and the timing is there, and we talk about this a lot, when he's anticipating the double team, not reacting to it, he is, for his position, the best passer on this team. And when you combine the ability to draw attention and draw double teams with the best passing, you get some really pretty plays. And there were so many times, especially in that third quarter, but even that first half, where Embiid ended the night with 7 assists and 3 turnovers. He had 4 or 5 hockey assists that play existed, that advantage existed because he created it. And whether it was him, I think he found Barlow on a cutter baseline. Then Barlow seemed like he had a bunch of the assists that came out of that. it was just and Barlow ended the night with 5 assists. I would bet Joel Embiid created the rotations that got at least 3 or 4 of them. He was just on point in a way that, look, he came out, he scored, was it 15 in the first quarter?
Yeah.
And a lot of that was on jumpers.
Yep.
And the jumper is something that we talked about before the game, and boy, don't we look stupid now. But a lot of times when he comes back from a layoff, that jumper isn't there. Well, it was tonight, and then the Bulls reacted and started setting double teams, and he just made the right play time and time again. It was really impressive to see. It was really impressive to see how well everyone, the chemistry and cohesion they had, given how long it's been since they played, not only with him, but with Paul as well. And look, Chicago's a garbage defense right now. Garbage defense who really doesn't care all that much. Although Devon is correct in pointing out, they will have their nights where they shock you, but it's mostly because they'll launch a bunch of threes and they'll go in. They're not a good defensive team. But the Sixers played a lot of really bad defensive teams over the last 50 years and never put up this amount of points. It was a great performance.
Oh, fantastic performance to start things off. So everybody, again, welcome in on the show. We were started right away. So we got underway as the game was finishing up. As soon as the clock went 0, instead of the 10 minutes that you normally catch us, we probably went about 20 seconds after the game started. So welcome into the show, everybody. Derek, Devon, Bree, all of you. Thanks for checking in on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Total domination for the Sixers tonight, 157-137. As you jump on in, hit the like button, like and subscribe. The foam finger is back because they're starting to piece by piece put the team back together. The foam finger is back. Hit the like button, like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell another friend that we are here. Pre, post, 3 p.m. shows as well. Sixers, Joel Embiid, Paul George back. This is exactly what you want to see. You're not going to put up 157, but it's just the things that Derek is talking about. The passing, the defense in general, where they're able to really stifle the Chicago Bulls in that first half, where it was 71-52. Chicago shooting 37%, 23% from 3 in the first half. A lot of that is because the Sixers defense was moving. They were popping from around the perimeter, where we talk a lot about, and Colin and Derek are 2 big proponents of what are they doing with their defense. They were moving. They weren't open threes as we talk about them getting up. 26 threes the Bulls did in that first half, only making 6. The Sixers defended it well, where they were contesting a lot of those where there weren't a lot of open shots. Sure, some of them of 26 are going to be open, but I thought that they were really moving, which allowed them to get those defensive rebounds, 22 overall in the first half, and then get out in transition where they had 9 fast break points for the Philadelphia 76ers. They got the stops. They rebounded, didn't give up too many offensive rebounds, and Joel Embiid didn't even rebound well in the first half. He only had 2 boards in the first half. It was everyone else collectively doing that, but the scoring, where he was starting off 5 for 5 from the floor. He was 3 for 3 from 3 immediately. He was cooking. In the first half overall, he shot, as Derek was talking about, 7 for 10, made all 3 of his threes. We discussed also what's the turnovers going to look like with him, because he speeds up a little bit too fast. And he had a few of them later on where you were like, all right, but the game was already out of hand.
Yeah,
he finished with 3 turnovers tonight.
He tried to go into his Jokic phase a little bit. But you were up 40.
No
that's
problem.
Fine.
Yeah, mess around a little bit. Yeah, take your chances. That little squeeze the basketball in between 3 defenders and try to get the ball to your teammate. But to see him come back, and as Derek talked about at the very beginning of the night, he has these moments where he comes back and he's just all over the place because he can't find his rhythm. But then there's those nights where he takes that time off and he just comes right back and you're like, oh yeah, that's Joel Embiid. He drops 30 in his sleep with no problem, and that's what he does. He got to the free throw line 9 times. That was right on the number that we said. Between 8 and 10, he's going to get his free throws. He didn't play the fourth quarter, though, so he did that in 3 quarters of play and overall 28 minutes, which is perfect for him in a return game after having so much time off. But the rhythm was there. The layup, not the layups, the layup from the elbow that he makes at a very high clip was right away on point. You could see it. That first shot, it was water, that 3-pointer. Then he gets to his spot right there from the elbow, makes that next jumper, and he's now cooking. And the ball just continued to come to him, find him. Edgecombe is finding him. Grimes, George, everyone is doing that. And that's how he really got into that Joel Embiid type of rhythm that we have seen so much over his career. but also in that December, January stretch where he was really damn good out there on the floor. And when he went down, of course, that's when things went away a little bit with the Sixers offense. The flow of the Sixers offense was much easier tonight. It's a shame that Tyrese Maxey wasn't there because we couldn't see all of that.
Yeah.
They'll get him back at some point. But for them to swing the ball the way that they did, to get everyone else going, they had 36 assists on 57 made baskets, which is something you like to see with only 8 turnovers. And when you talk about 2 players coming back with so much time off in George and Embiid, they had a combined 3 turnovers, and those are all Joel Embiid's. So it was great to see that. And then you move on to what VJ Edgecombe did, where we want to give him his time. We'll do that on the other side because there's so much to talk about with him. And we'll do the unsung hero after the second break.
It's not going to be Joel Embiid. He's pretty well sung tonight.
Yes, that's why he's the player of the game, everybody. Let's just call that one like it is as we see it with Joel Embiid with a game-high 35 on the night. 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 block, 12 for 17 from the field. Perfect 3 for 3 from beyond, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. All of that work done in 28 minutes and 6 seconds. And jokingly, Derek says, I think he's going for Bam's new scoring mark of 83 to try to get 84 to 85 to surpass him. Had he taken more shots, he might have been able to do that. But they didn't. They didn't need that tonight. So this is where they pull everybody back in. This is where they have you thinking irrational thoughts. Maybe not irrational, but because of where they are with the 40-33 record, not firmly in the top 6, not in the top 4, which we're accustomed to seeing them in the Joel Embiid era. But this is where they have you rethinking your entire basketball thinking process of what they can do against any basketball team out there as we talk about the Eastern Conference. Now, you might say, Devon, settle down. I'm not saying it. I'm just pointing out that this is where they pull you back in and have you believing that they can make real noise in the postseason, no matter who's across from them, what floor they are on, if all of them are able to play. Kelly Oubre is not back. Same for Tyrese Maxey. But this is where they have you believing that they can be a real problem for any opponent in the Eastern Conference. Because, Derek, as you always say, if he is on the floor looking healthy, and you always say just one healthy run, just one, they have a chance.
All I want in life is one healthy run. And look, Devon said that like you can have me thinking like crazy thoughts of what they can do. No, what they can do, I think, could be special. What they will do is a completely different question.
That's fair.
We have no idea. Like, it's pretty clear. Healthy, they can play with just about anyone in the Eastern Conference. Boston would scare me just schematically. It would be a disaster of a matchup. But they can do a lot of stuff that you would think is impossible in the playoffs. Will they? Well, that's completely different because you have to be healthy for a full series. You have to be healthy for 4 full series to make the run that you ultimately want to make. I think we all understand the difficulties of this team doing that. But look, if you're going to try to have the cope, it's that, the 3 weeks or whatever month that he spent out with the oblique injury, helped the shin heal. The knee hasn't really been a problem for most of the year. Maybe the oblique, which usually isn't an injury that lingers, maybe the oblique helped his lower body injuries get better, gave him the time off that he needs. They were able to tread water. That would be the cope of everything that has gone on. Because if he is healthy, like we've said it time and time again, he is the one, as great as Maxey is, Joel is the one who can just completely change the complexion of the team. And look, again, Bulls pretty much stink. But you could just see this was a completely different basketball team. This was a completely different, dangerous team when he's on the floor. It's been obvious for a decade. I need one run. I need one run.
One would be nice. That's all you need is one.
I just want to see what it looks like.
Then you reevaluate the next time.
So much of the narrative is like, oh, well, he can't perform in the playoffs. And look, there's no doubt that his productivity has gone down in the playoffs. I just want to see one run so we can at least test the hypothesis of what it would look like. Just give me one.
Just give us one. Just give us one. Maybe this is the one where we will check in on the other teams in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference tonight, the other games that we discussed in the pregame of teams surrounding the Sixers from 5 on down to 10, and what it looks like for them after taking care of their business tonight. They did their part. What about the other teams in the Eastern Conference? We'll update you a little bit later, go around the league and look at the standings of what happened on this Wednesday night in the association. Sixers win in a big way, 157-137. Welcome back, Joel Embiid and Paul George, for the work that they did tonight. Paul George really going off in the fourth quarter, where he, after the guys sat down, Nick Nurse said, all right, it's your turn. Go ahead and cook. He went 5 for 8 in the fourth quarter in 4 minutes and 49 seconds, 3 for 6 from 3, 13 points, and then he sat down for the remainder of the night. VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, their nights were finished at that point, and we will talk about VJ Edgecombe and Paul George a little bit more on the other side. We'll get to the unsung hero later in the show, update the standings a little bit later, as well as we hang out with you as the Sixers pick up win number 40 on the season with 9 games to play. We talked about it a few times. Last season, they went, no, not last season. The
2
season
seasons
before.
ago. 8 in a row.
8 in a row.
Yep.
The year in 2016, where Ben Simmons with Joel Embiid down helped lead that team to about 15 in a row, 16 in a row, going into the playoffs. They may not win all 10 going down the stretch, but it's possible that they can win a decent amount of the number of games that we talk about to elevate themselves in the standings.
Hey, 6-3. We get to that 46.
That would be nice. We come back, we'll discuss VJ Edgecombe. He's not lost in all of this. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. We'll come back right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, it's time to make your home work smarter, not harder. With the TrueMark Financial Home Equity line of credit, you can tap into your home's equity to handle renovations, upgrades, or whatever's next on your list. A TrueMark Financial HELOC Select gives you the flexibility to borrow when you need it on your timeline. You start with a revolving line of credit, use only what you need, and when you're ready, you can lock in all or part of your balance at a fixed rate for predictable payments. You only pay interest on what you use, and as you pay it back, that credit becomes available again. No reapplying, no extra steps. With competitive rates compared to most unsecured loans and flexible repayment options, this could be a smart move for your home and for your wallet. Learn more about TrueMark Financial's home equity line of credit at TrueMark.com or stop by one of their 24 branch locations to get started. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender, NMLS 404938. And guys, next up, we want to tell you about Xfinity, specifically about their 5-year price guarantee. Because what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There's no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and it's Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
And we're back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Hit the like button again. Everybody jumping on in. Like and subscribe to the show. While you're here, we thank you. Hit that like button. We continue to try to build things here at the PHLY network and certainly here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. And hey, man, if they make the playoffs, simply top 6 or even the play-in, we'll be here no matter what. They get into the actual postseason play of the playoffs, we're the place for you to be for all of your post-game coverage. So make sure you hit the like button so we can continue to spread on out there in the YouTube world to let everybody know that this is the place to be right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Like and subscribe to the show, everybody. We thank you as always. All right, let's get to the it's Wednesday. Everybody, let's get to the Wawa Wednesday Big Deal presented by Wawa, where you can get the $5 big breakfast, any sizzly, any hot or iced coffee at any size, and a hash brown. That's just $5, 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. daily, only at Wawa. The Big Deal with Joel Embiid back, Paul George back, Kelly Oubre warming up, Tyrese Maxey shooting with his injured hand and pinky, making appearances on the Tonight Show. He seems like he's fine. I don't know, Derek. Everybody's coming back. That is a big deal. So while we may not have wanted it to play out the way that it did, you discussed the rest for Joel Embiid and the injuries that he did have with the calf and the oblique. Paul George, it's over with. It happened. 25-game suspension, 13-12, kept their heads above water. They're at win number 40 right now with 9 games to play. The Wawa Wednesday big deal, though, now is during this stretch, there's a chance that we get to see these players all come back together at the right time leading into the postseason. And that is a huge deal, a big deal right now for this team.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a like we've mentioned it a bunch, they just haven't played a ton together, at least a ton compared to other cores that make deep playoff runs. It's something Joel has hammered a bunch. Like, he wants that kind of organizational stability like the Nuggets would have, so to speak, like the Celtics most years, not this past offseason because they had to shed a lot of salary, but the Celtics would have during their run. He's never really had that. And even to this point, 2 years into the Big Three experiment, those three just haven't played a ton of minutes on the floor together. They've played some, but not a ton. And now you add a rookie VJ in, you've got yet another very important piece to integrate. If you can get 10 games here, which, again, probably doesn't feel like the most in the world, but if you can get 10 straight games of these three playing together, integrate Maxey into the mix at some point, hopefully integrate Kelly pretty soon, because it sounds like, based off what Kyle was saying in the pregame show, that he could be sooner, quicker than later. All of a sudden, you can start building just a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of cohesion, a little bit of, you know where your teammates are going to be. You know where they like the ball. You know who you can trust in terms of defensive rotations. You know how to communicate. You know where Paul George likes to catch the ball to shoot. All of these things that just come with time spent together. It's not going to solve all of that time that you haven't played alongside of each other, but it is something that you can develop at least a little bit. You can improve a little bit. And this is, look, I'm feeling more and more comfortable that if they stay healthy, and even though everything looks great now, you still have to say the if there just because it's a team that we cover.
Yeah.
They should be able to avoid the play-in, but I'm at the point now where I want them to hit the playoffs, hit the ground running. I want them to come in there feeling confident, like that 8-game winning streak you talked about, like that 15-game winning streak way back when, because I do think this team, if healthy, has quite a bit of talent. And, this is a stretch where you have to make the most of it, in part because you got so little over the last 2 months of the season. And, I do still think, like, Paul, you can see his defensive impact right from the jump. And the way he's able to rotate and cover up things, he just covers gaps in a way that very few players on this team do. Really, nobody on this team does. Okay, well, can he get on the same page as everyone else? Right. And it's I've never been a punt the season guy, even when this season was looking as down as we thought it was looking. So now you've got this sort of like second lease on life. I hope they can make the most of it. I hope that Joel is able to play, if there's 9 games left. I hope he plays 7 of those games. I hope Paul plays 7 of those games so you can maximize the amount of time they have on the court together.
No, it's great to see. Great to see all of that come together right now. Hopefully they can get the ground running with these 3 in particular, and then when Oubre and Tyrese Maxey come back, just ease right on into it as they walk their way into either the play-in or the postseason. That is the Wawa Wednesday Big Deal presented by Wawa, where you can get with the $5 breakfast deal any Sizzly. Have it your way, the way you like it, croissant or how, whatever choice of croissant, Sizzly you may like. Any hot or iced coffee at any size and a hash brown, just $5 at 5 to 11 a.m. Limited time, daily at Wawa. I actually, as you know, had a busy weekend. Wawa was a big deal.
I promise you this is not a bit. I had a chicken sandwich on the way in with teriyaki, by the way. Which
is pretty good, isn't it?
I'll be honest, not really a teriyaki guy. Not because Wawa's teriyaki is bad. I'm just a barbecue sauce guy, so I default to that almost every time. But
it tastes pretty good. Yeah, it tastes pretty good. So 5 to 11 every day at Wawa, $5. All right, Paul George and VJ Edgecombe. Let's talk about these two and what they were able to do. Again, VJ Edgecombe finished with 22, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. I thought he was going to get 8 rebounds again just because that's what he's been doing. So he was tremendous.
I mean, you mentioned the first half when Embiid only had 2. Paul George and VJ and Dom were all great on the glass. Like,
yes.
They got some really key rebounds swooping in from the perimeter and competing hard.
And that's why I thought he was going to end up with at least at minimum 8 because of the way he was helping to crash the glass, because Embiid to that point wasn't moving to get the rebounds like we saw before the injuries really start to hurt him and force him to sit down. But he did all of that work in the 3 quarters. And in the second quarter, well, first, he had only 3 points in 5 minutes in the second quarter. In the first quarter, VJ Edgecombe had 11. He was trying to keep pace with Joel Embiid's 15, where he was 3 for 4, and he had 3 boards, as Derek talked about. And then in the third, 8, 3 assists, 1 steal, all 12 minutes, did not have to play the fourth quarter. So while we focus on both Embiid and George, and they'll come back and we'll talk a little more extensively about George, I mean, Edgecombe, again, keeping pace with Joel Embiid in that first half to help really keep the Sixers in front the way that they did as that secondary guy.
Yeah, and look, he's making some tough threes. Like, these are not all gimmies. And he was, I think, 4 for 4 in the first half. Or was he only 3 for 3 in it? Doesn't matter.
He was 3 for 3.
I think he made his first 4, but only 3 of them were in the first half.
Yeah.
And look, this is the kind of game where you want
2 for 2. Sorry, first half.
It doesn't matter. He was 4 for 4 at one point.
We don't want.
We want to be right. Like,
we don't want clown. We don't want to get clowned.
Trust me, there's enough people on the internet.
We get clowned for a lot of stuff.
They'll find a way to
Let's
clown us.
Let's not get clowned for that one.
When you look like this, you will get clowned. Anyway, moving on from that subject. He was really good in every facet of the game, and quite frankly, I would like to see him. And look, I'm not going to complain about a night where they dropped 157 points. 157. I would have liked him to be a little bit more involved. He ended up with a high-scoring night while only taking 9 shots, in part because he couldn't miss from the perimeter, but also in part because he got the free throw line a decent chunk too. But he was so fundamentally sound in almost every respect. 6 assists, 1 turnover, got the free throw line, made his threes, made tough step-back threes, sidestep threes, and I thought had some really good 2-man moments with Embiid. This is one of those games where, I'd like him to be 10% more aggressive, 20% more aggressive, but he made so many good decisions, and quite frankly, just that shot. Like, we had so many questions about his ability to shoot coming into the season, and how frankly, if you would have told me he'd be a good off-the-catch shooter, I would have taken that, because that allows him to fit into a system. But him making shots like he does off the dribble, off of a screen, sidestep threes, step back threes, I did not expect to be that comfortable with him shooting at this point in his career. And it really does allow him to switch between on-off ball roles, creation, spacing. He can do so many different things now that if you have a night where Joel Embiid's going like the way he's going, if you have a night where the ball movement's so great, this is a night. And I say, you would like to be a little bit more aggressive, but I don't know if you want to be too aggressive, because right now this should have been a ball movement type of game. This should have been a 3, 4, 5 passes. They had a couple passes where the ball they weren't even taking dribbles. It was just pass.
Snapping, yeah.
You don't, take what comes to you, take what the defense gives you, and if not, keep the ball moving. I thought he did an exceptional job of that today. So yeah, would you like to look at the box score and say he should have had 13, 14 shots? Maybe, but I'm not sure that's really what this game gave him. And the fact that he's able to switch from scoring 35 points the other night, 38 points 3 nights ago, to being an ultra efficient, 22 points like this with that kind of ball movement and that kind of defense and that kind of decision making, it's just great to have a young kid who's able to switch between roles like this depending on what the game calls for.
And the cool thing with him is we even heard it on the broadcast. I thought Ala was really good tonight in how he talked about where we've discussed as well, the improvement of his shot and how fluid it looks now. How it's definitely the same every time. Everybody's talking about it in the chat, so we can address that in a second. But it just the way that the shot is coming off of his fingers and his fingertips right now, it looks really good. And there was one that he had at the top of the key when the ball did move, and it's like, you got to make that. And he made it. And it was off of a nice pass as the ball continued to snap around the perimeter. So it was just great to see him shoot that way. And Paul George struggled early, and he went into, of course, facilitator mode on some of those possessions. Maybe it was because he wasn't making the shots, and he wanted to make sure VJ didn't get lost in things. But because George was not able to make shots early, Edgecombe was, and he benefited from all of that and took full advantage of it. And you can't help but to think that the last 3 games where he has averaged a really high number in points and then just contributing also in the rebounds and assists, that confidence is still there. So even when Oubre and Maxey do get back in uniform and they're all out there, that aggression is there. It's one thing for us to talk about a 6th, 7th, 8th man that's in VJ Edgecombe's role doing things that he should not be doing. It's another thing for a player like this who's a number 3 overall pick that's having a fantastic rookie season on a playoff team playing this way where there's no reason other than years in service of the other players in front of him or next to him on the floor as to why he should not feel like he cannot put the ball on the floor and go to the basket, rebound, keep pushing without passing just to set up whatever transition opportunities they may have, or taking one of those shots on the perimeter the way that he has been showing us here at this point of the season. So fantastic job by him. 22, 6, and 6, really efficient on the night, and he will continue to just get better. And I hope that this is really something that we see in these final 9, then in the playoffs, whatever form it is, as we jump into this conversation now about the play-in and the seeding and the playoffs, because everybody's destroying Jalen Duren, hometown kid. I saw Kyle here in the chat. I just want to get his name right. Kyle P in the chat talking about how, he just short-armed it. A layup right there, and the Hawks win just because Duren short-arms the layup basically right there at the front of the rim.
Yeah, I didn't see the play. I only saw the box score.
I'm just going off of what everybody's saying in the chat.
And look, I think, of the teams that are around them, you've got obviously the Hawks, then you've got the Raptors in 5th, you've got Orlando right behind them. I think the Hawks are probably the least likely one that they're going to catch. So, this one doesn't break my heart as much because I just feel like Atlanta is going to pull away from the pack here a little bit, unless the Sixers rip off 8 of their last 9. Even still, any kind of help you can get would be great.
Yeah. Our guy Al was in the chat in the pregame. I saw it. Sorry, Al, I didn't bring it up. He was like, stop worrying about everybody else. Let's just handle our business. No, that's the problem. You have to worry about everybody else or else you're in the play-in.
Also, I get that perspective if you're a player, right? Because you don't want something that you can't control impacting your mental state.
No. After the game.
I have no impact on the game. I can multitask here. I can worry about other teams.
Yeah, because we can also remember the losses that they should not have had. And Embiid missing these games. Paul George's 25-game suspension where maybe they take 3 more games in there. We have to worry about what everybody else is doing with 9 games left.
Sixers could go 6-3 down the stretch. If another team gets hot too, it might not matter. So I'm going to scoreboard watch.
And tiebreakers.
Yeah, which the Sixers don't have a lot of because they got swept by the Hawks.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right, when we come back, we got to talk about the unsung hero, maybe heroes from Togo, because there were a couple of guys that played pretty well in their roles tonight while with the regulars out there on the floor. We're not talking about the fourth quarter. We're talking about what happened in the 3 quarters when Embiid, George, and Edgecombe were all out there, maybe a little bit in the fourth. We'll talk about the Togo unsung heroes when we get back. Sixers blow out, dominate, and destroy the Chicago Bulls 157. They hung on the Bulls tonight, 20-point victory, 40th win of the season. Still got some work to do with 9 games to go. This is a great start, though, getting Embiid and George back. We'll be back right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. All right, sports fans out there, we are experiencing the tournament right now. And as fans of Philadelphia, you know you can't leave early except for when you're using the Bet365 app, because leaving early has never been safer. If your team is riding high and goes up by 10 points at any point of the game, Bet365 will pay you out right there on the spot. It's that simple, where winning is everything. Download the app to take advantage of their $365 promo, where all you have to do is make a $10 bet, win or lose $365 in bonus bets only for you right there. So when you download the app, you're all good. Sign up, use code PHLY365. When you do, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Pennsylvania. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. Must be 21 plus. Time limits, minimum odds, and terms and conditions apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited.
Guys, tax season is funny because it's one of the only times all year people actually look at their full financial picture. You see what you made, you see what you spent, you see what you saved, and sometimes you're left thinking, wait a minute, where did all of that go? That's why I've been using Monarch. It helps you see exactly where your money's going and where something like a tax refund can actually make the biggest impact, whether that's paying down debt or building up savings. Simplify your finances with Monarch. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that's designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, from budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning, together in one dashboard on your phone or your laptop. Feel aware and in control of your finances this tax season and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code PHLY. Monarch actually helps you stay proactive. Their AI insights highlight spending trends and patterns that you might miss. Achieve your financial goals for good with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple. Use code PHLY at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off at monarch.com with code PHLY.
We'll get to your super chats and so much more. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Dominant performance over the Bulls. Welcome back, Joel Embiid and Paul George. VJ Edgecombe, not too shabby. We'll get to the unsung hero here in a sec. But first, the return. We talk about welcome back. Baseball season.
Yes.
Phillies get started tomorrow.
Let's go.
Hosting the Texas Rangers to start off. By the way, I don't like starting off against the AL teams, but nevertheless, I'm picking.
You know what really pisses me off, though? Opening night, day off. Come on, man. That drives me insane.
Always hate that. Yankees, Giants playing right now also to, different. You get what I'm saying. The show. They're back. Corey Seidman, Jamie Lynch, Anthony Gargano joining them on every Wednesday on the PHLY Phillies podcast. They debuted or returned today. Debuted with Corey this afternoon at noon. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week, noon, right here on the PHLY network, PHLY Phillies podcast. They are back to work. Phillies still 90-plus win team. If you haven't checked it out, go and check out the first episode. Also, with the return of the season and the show, got some merchandise for you all as well. Some new hats, some new hoodies to get you set. Look at the powder blue hoodie.
I might have to get that powder. Do you think we can get that powder blue hoodie by tomorrow?
No.
We don't have a
we
friend
know
who can
people,
hook us up?
but not that soon. Powder blue hoodie with the maroon, right? In the writing. T-shirt, of course. The gray hoodie with the maroon in the writing, right? Mm-hmm, like that. Mm-hmm. Or, burgundy, whatever one you want to call it. And the red caps now. That are just the black hats that we have, and now the white, the cream one that Derek has on with the black bill, and our team one that we have, our navy blue. How about the red Phillies there with the normal PHLY logo and then the different font that you have on the hoodies and the T-shirts? Nice work.
Yeah.
I like that powder blue hoodie like you just said.
I need the hoodie and the hat for tomorrow. I need it.
We know some people. Eric, get on it. Send it overnight. Make sure that's here pretty early. Before we go to the game tomorrow, yes, we will be at the Phillies game tomorrow. We will see you there. It's our day off. We're off tomorrow. We're back Friday for a 3 p.m. show. Saturday, Sixers at Hornets. Is that a 6 o'clock start? 6 o'clock start, 5:30 pregame right here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show. So we'll see you at the Phillies game tomorrow with our day off.
The worst thing about your 3-month vacation to start the company is I had to go to a baseball game with Kyle. A playoff game. He doesn't even like baseball. You left me with him.
You could have said, do you want to go to the game? I could have gone to the game. All right, let's get to the Togo Unsung Hero presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing, presented by the good people at Togo, harnesstogo.com. All right. It's the Dominick Barlow Award, the Unsung Hero. But we talked about him being very good when Joel Embiid is back in the lineup, when Paul George is back in the lineup, when he has the full complement of players with him, and how much better Dominick Barlow is. And his night, the stats again, just like we've seen all season, the stats don't tell the story as you watch the game. 3 for 5 in 25 minutes and 30 seconds, but 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 block shots for 9 points. And then Payne, 15 points, 5 for 8 from 3, 4 assists in his time out there on the floor. Dominick Barlow, Payne, the Togo Unsung Heroes. Can you start with campaign, though, Derek?
I could. Look, he's kind of been up and down, but when it's quite simple. When he's making shots like he was tonight, he's going, all 5 of his shots were jumpers. All 5 of his made shots were threes. He certainly, I think, both benefited from and helped, accentuate some of the ball movement. It was just a good night. Now, a lot of Cam's good nights tend to be driven by the 3-point shooting and the ability to make from the perimeter. He certainly had some deep ones, and when he's connecting like that, he can help bend the defense.
And can I say this, too, about campaign? While he has experience playing with Joel Embiid, so it's not like a real thing where you have to worry about, do they have any chemistry? How will they play off of each other? This is his first game since Embiid's been back, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't play. Yeah, I don't think they because it was after the All-Star.
He was after the All-Star break.
After the All-Star break.
And
so
Embiid only played 2 games.
Maybe he played
before.
2 games with Joel. And but
because I think Cam signed a little bit after the break.
Right.
No, it might have been during. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but not a lot of time this year with him. But he picked up right where they left off in the time that campaign was here before in the Sixers uniform with Joel Embiid. He looked really good out there. Now, we don't know what this means in the playoffs and how much time that may mean, especially with Oubre, Maxey, Edgecombe, George, ball handling. And then you have, of course, Joel Embiid handling the rock as much as he does. But there are those times where you just simply I need a spark. I need 5 to 7 minutes. Can somebody make a shot? Can you make the right pass? A lot of hesitation at times to get the ball to Joel Embiid in the middle of the floor, right around 17, 18 feet inside the three-point line where he has somebody posted up and he wants it on the hand. He doesn't want it anywhere. He just wants it on the hand. Cam Payne is a point guard who can get the ball right on his hand for where Joel Embiid likes to operate there, and you even saw that there tonight. So he looked really good tonight out there with Joel Embiid, Paul George back on the floor. So something to just continue to monitor.
Yep. As
he is back. Dominick Barlow. It's the Dominick Barlow Award. And again, we talk about the stats and how it looks on the stat sheet, but we saw what we saw. We watched what we watched. He was fantastic tonight.
Yeah, and I ran the numbers in the middle of the game. Now, these stats will be coming into the game, so they won't include what happened tonight. But when he's on the floor with Embiid, they average pretty much the same points when he's on the floor with and without Embiid. 15 points per 100 possessions versus 14.9. That's not where the difference comes. But when he's playing with Embiid, he has a 58% true shooting. A 63% true shooting compared to a 57% when he's playing without Embiid. His rebounds go up when he's alongside of Embiid. And probably the key, the Sixers have a plus 6.3 net rating when Barlow is on the floor with Embiid compared to a negative 4.4 net rating when he is on the floor without Embiid. He's been a much more effective version. I think the spacing that Embiid provides helps Barlow a lot. When you're like Barlow, and most of your utility on offense comes from the offensive glass or moving off ball, having a center who can pull the big man away from the rim and out to the three-point line helps a ton. And then Barlow and his ability, both as a weak side shot blocker and as a rebounder, helps cover up some of Embiid's limitations, especially when he has to step out and try to defend on the perimeter. So I do think that is a pairing that they should try to maximize as much as they can. And then also just because Embiid is able to draw double teams, he is able to promote ball movement because of his ability to force a rotation. I think one of Barlow's underutilized skills is he's a pretty good passer on the move.
Yeah, he is.
And, when he's trying to go one-on-one against a defender, that doesn't really come through because, quite frankly, at that point, he's just got to make sure he can keep his dribble and try to get a decent shot. But when he's got an advantage created for him and he's able to dive to the rim, 1 or 2 dribbles, he's able to make some pretty good passes. And he had a number of possessions where, again, Embiid found Barlow. Barlow then, kicked it out to somebody else and got the assist. It's a real good pairing between those two. I do think you want to try to pair his minutes alongside of Embiid's as much as you can. Now, that might be tough because when Kelly comes back, you assume Kelly's going to go in that starting lineup. That's
what I was going to ask
so it's going to be tough to stagger and get
yeah.
that pairing as much as you want. But I do think he benefits a lot from a true, and I mean a true, face up, a true shooting threat at center and a true passer at center, not a fake passer and a fake shooter like someone like Andre.
Togo Unsung Heroes presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Dominick Barlow and Cam Payne, the winners tonight. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute at Togo. Visit harnesstogo, that's TOGO.com. All right, when we come back, your super chats and the Bet365 pick tracker. How did Bree and I do on our pregame picks? We will let you know when we get back. While we're gone, Strike that like button, everybody. Like and subscribe to the show. Tell a friend to tell another friend. Let everybody know that we are here. Hit the like button. On the way to our break, our final segment on the other side is the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Dominant performance by the Sixers. All right, spring is here. You know what time that means. You get an 80-degree day. You get a snow day. You get rain. It's all over the place. And you know what comes with all that, with the change of weather? Annoying pests, insects, rodents, ants, spiders, bees, all those unwanted pests that you haven't invited them in. They just welcome themselves in. And that's why our friends at Evans Pest Control, they come into play running their spring sales event right now for new customers where you can get 5% off general pest control services when you book your first treatment. All you have to do is use promo code SPRING5 when you schedule that service. It runs through March 15th through the 31st, and it applies to standard general pest control treatments right now. So if you're looking for reliable protection this spring, reach out to Evans Pest Control, schedule your service, and use code SPRING5 to save 5% during the spring sales event. Once again, 15th through the 31st of this month. Learn more at evanspestmgmt.com. All right, if you're looking for something to do and hang out with some of your loved ones, friends, family, got to hang out at the great place, Parks Casino and the Excite Center at Parks Casino. One of the many things I love about my casino of choice. And Parks Casino is Pennsylvania's #1 casino. It's close to Philadelphia. Very easy to get to, located in Ben-Salem. Take the Street Road exit off of I-95 and the PA Turnpike, and boom, you are right there to check out Warren Zeter's. Yes, Friday, March 27th, 7:30 at the Excite Center for the World Tour 2026. Is right there because this is the best venue for music headliners and some of the best comedians in the world. They all come together at Parks Casino, where you can get tickets at parkscasino.com for all your shows and these great events there. You can also check out the amazing beer garden, get some food and all, hang out before the show. Parks Casino, this is how you win. If you're going to be there, you must be 21 and over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Derek, Devon, Bree, thanks to all of you. Get to your super chats here as well. You know what? Let's do the super chats right now as we hang out with everybody and check in on the super chats and see what everybody had to say about this victory. A lot of activity in the super chats tonight. EJ Barrett starting things off. Go like the vid. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, EJ. Appreciate letting everybody know.
Listen to EJ.
Yes. Joe is good at basketball. PG 1 for 6 was still impacting the game and finished with 11-22. VJ at the IQ off ball tonight was really good. Free safety Barlow is goated. Wave Drummond.
Well, unfortunately, Joe misses too many games for you to wave Drummond, so you can't do that. I do hope that Bona is the backup center when Embiid's available, because I just think he's been playing more consistent, but hopefully Embiid is here more games than not. No, and I think obviously a lot of Paul's scoring came in the second half. I think he had like 22 of his 28 in the second half. A lot of it came, quite frankly, when the game was mostly over.
Yeah.
But I thought the third quarter, he was still a positive player just because his defense was that good. Like, I thought he was exceptional defensively in that first half. And look.
Yeah, 4 steals, man.
Yeah, and it was just all over the place. Like I said, he covers up a lot of holes, and he's just one of the more versatile and, quite frankly, one of the smarter defenders on this team. It was the Bulls obviously ended up putting up a big number, in part because they scored 53 in the fourth quarter when it was all 12 minutes of it were garbage time. I couldn't even tell you what happened because I was looking up various things. They, for the most part, had a really good defensive game going through 2.5 quarters, and Paul was a big part of that. I was actually encouraged. It was like, oh, that's a professional defender. That is a professional, team player out there on the floor. And yeah, the shots weren't falling because he hasn't played basketball in a month and a half, 2 months. But I thought his reactions, his instincts, his reads were very strong.
Yeah. 26 minutes, 20 seconds, 11 for 22 from the floor, 6 for 13 from 3 for Paul George. Finished with 28 points. Didn't even seem like it that he had 28 points. You would have thought VJ Edgecombe was the second leading scorer on the team behind Joel Embiid's 35. All right, let's keep it going with EJ saying PG Joe combined for 100 fantasy points for his dynasty team.
Well, I'm happy for your dynasty team, buddy.
Glad it worked out for you there, EJ. Hope you're still in a good spot. And finally, EJ says, favorite plays, the high-low, Paul George to Joe, score, next play. defensive fronts from Barlow. So PG goes straight to Joe, leading to a foul. So yeah.
No, I thought Barlow had a really nice passing game, and Paul is a pretty good. Like I said, his reads are strong, and I thought you saw that tonight.
That one play where George had it in the corner, went baseline, and looked like he was going to fall out of bounds. So he made Dominick Barlow just reading what his teammates was doing, ran to the open spot. George was able to dump it off. Buzelis leaps into the air. So he jumped so high, and he has a quick second jump. Yeah. He got back into it, but Dominick Barlow was still able to dunk it. So it was just a great play overall. So great stuff from those guys in their return. K. Fergie, I love 40 points leads in the fourth quarter.
We mentioned it before the game. Hope that they blew this team out so Embiid didn't have to play too many minutes. I think I called for 25. He played 28. Some people were upset that he was playing so deep into the third quarter. That's right. He was not exactly playing the toughest defense in the world there in that third quarter. That was mostly just light cardio at that point. No, it was a nice, clean, uneventful, unstressful second half.
Yeah,
I'm here for that.
Thank you, K. Fergie. Riaz, great win. Do you think we can get the 5th seed despite getting swept? I'm not a believer in the Cavs. They choke every year. Pistons may not make it out of round 2 or make it to round 2. I like this oath if we can get in. Well,
I think it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough for the 5.
Right, and not because of the team who's currently in 5th.
It's
not
Atlanta.
Because of Toronto. It's because I think Atlanta is going to end up claiming that spot if they continue to play like they're playing, which is very good basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you it's impossible, but the combination of Atlanta, how many have they won now? Like
14 out of 15.
14 out of 15, plus they've got the tiebreaker against Sixers.
Yeah.
That would be pretty tough. And by the way, whenever there's a multi-team tie, like a 3-team tie, it goes to combined record against the tied teams. So any 3-team tie that you are involved in with Atlanta, you're pretty much going to get screwed because of that 0-for-4 record against the Hawks.
Yeah. No, it's I don't think so. I just think it's going to be 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah. So I think something would have to happen to the Hawks. You could definitely catch the team currently in 5th. I just think Atlanta's going to jump them.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And we appreciate that one, K. Fergie. Let's go to Skunk Riley with the haiku of the night. Can you read that one?
I can't. I'm blind as hell.
All right. This haiku is titled Number 8.
There we go.
Number 8, too late. No shame in this game. Stroll in the gym. All guiltless. Step up 9 more times. Seriously, step up, my man. You've been useless as a barnacle up until tonight. Skunk Riley with the super chat.
Skunk, you're a one of one, buddy. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Skunk. He got off to a really slow start.
Yeah.
He did. And then he turned it up, as we know, to finish with 28. Had the explosion in that fourth quarter, so it was really good.
But like I said, I think
right there, but he went off.
I don't really care because he started the game like 1 for 9 or something like that. I didn't really like whenever somebody takes that much time off, you kind of expect their jumper to be off. I wasn't encouraged by what he was adding as a team defender. I thought it was really encouraging.
Yep. All right, let's get to thank you all for your super chats. K. Fergie, EJ, Riaz, Skunk. We appreciate everybody with the super chats here tonight. Thank you so much. Let's get to all right, Bree, we got to do it. It's time to do it. It's time to do the Bet365 post-game picks tracker.
Oh, why did you...
That is now updated.
I didn't make a pick today. You didn't have to include me.
That is now updated. 2 for 2 for me now. Well, 2 and 2 for me now through 4 games. Kyle is yet to make a pick. And Derek had to make the pick while we were off on Saturday. Goose egg.
You all take the same day off, the same gosh darn day off. I hold down the fort, and what do I get for it? A 0 by my name.
Because you didn't hold down the fort. You lost. You guys got, come on, man.
Screwed by Ace Bailey. There's some karma in that.
It is karma.
I got 2 out of 3 legs of my parlay, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
That's how they make their money.
The Bet365 post-game pick tracker. Yes.
I'm going to have to go back. Now I'm going to go back historically and find, because I know I've had done 1 or 2 more picks before. I'm going to see if I got
this season
right.
or
yeah.
Okay, this season. All right, yeah. Because we said we were going to do the same thing for us, just so we can update the. Since you
well,
guys,
I'm not
you
gonna
guys were on my side.
I'm
anyway.
not gonna. I don't care about you now. You got your 2-2.
Oh,
You're
back
good to
to
go.
500. I'm good, I guess. No, you said it before. The 0 didn't look right. It was unfair.
Well, you don't have a 0 now, so I don't care about you anymore.
Because I think I have a pretty good. I think I have a winning record each season. I think I do. All right. By the way, Bet365, of course, the pick tracker. Where winning is everything. Download the app.
I have to start making some picks now just to get that 0 off the board.
Use code PHLY365 and sign up today at Bet365. New customers sign up. You deposit $10, make a wager there, and you get $365 in bonus bets at Bet365. Only at Bet365. It's the only place to make bets. The only place I make bets when we do that. All right, let's get to the tracker. The Around the League tracker, the standings tracker.
Sorry, I'm still too pissed off at that.
And see where things are as we go around the league with the scoreboards for the Sixers tonight. All right, let's go to the final scores because those are all that matter right now as Bree has the standings up there. Sixers are in 7th right now, and that's good. Considering where everything is, that's good right now. They're a game back of both Toronto and Atlanta. Toronto plays later on tonight. They do play the Los Angeles Clippers, so we'll all keep an eye on that and check that tomorrow morning. Right now, they are a full game in front of the Miami Heat because the Miami Heat did take an L. They did beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-103, so Cleveland let everybody down tonight, everybody. And Atlanta, the one that Derek talked about, and all of you in the chat, 130-129. So they have the full game lead right now on the Sixers because they win again. It would have been nice to see that change because had they lost, things would have looked a little bit differently. There in the standings would look pretty good. Toronto, we'll see how things play out. But you have Miami next Monday, which is important. They just snapped their 5-game losing streak. And you have the Charlotte Hornets on Saturday in Charlotte, both in Charlotte and in Miami. And as Kyle said on Monday, you just worry about that day off in between Charlotte and then Miami. In Miami on Sunday, you just don't want that to happen. Orlando drops after losing 6 straight. There in the 10th spot right now behind the Charlotte Hornets because the Miami Heat did win to improve to 39-34. So that's around the league. That's the update on the standings in the Eastern Conference. Your Sixers right now, 7th.
I really should. The last time Kyle and I were in Miami for a playoff series, I should go back and read our recaps for the day after and see whether or not they suffered. I bet you those were not our best writing.
I think we need to see those. I think we definitely need to see those. But for all the complaining that we did, everybody, and yes, we did complain too. We were worried and how things were going to look for this basketball team. They're still right there with the chance to maybe take 6. 5 is really ambitious, but maybe just to simply take 6. They're at 40 right now, 9 games left to play. We said 44. Kyle said 46 with our second half predictions for the 76ers. And all of it's in play. No matter who the opponent is, it's all in play. And I don't think they're going to lose 9 in a row. And I don't think so. But I think they can win a couple of games and put themselves in a really good spot. We're going to overtime, everybody, for a roll call. Make sure you check us out on Friday as we're back here at 3 p.m. on Friday, off on Thursday, right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. If you want to finish tonight's show with us, head on over to allphly.com. What happened?
Well, I just forgot about the roll call. Until the moment you said it. Look, these next 2, the Charlotte and Miami, that could be a season. It could be a season in terms of catching 5 or 6.
Yes.
That Miami one, obviously they're a game behind you. You need to pick up that one. We've talked about the Miami struggles. Charlotte playing great basketball. That little 3-game road trip. Obviously, the Wizards should be a team that you beat. But the first 2 legs of that 3-game road trip are going to be hugely important. They play some decent teams after that. Most notably, Timberwolves, Pistons, Spurs, Rockets. Good teams. But Pistons obviously playing without Cade. They won tonight, but playing without Cade. You don't know how much the Spurs, because the Spurs have a couple games of cushion in between like they're the 2 seed, right?
Yes.
And there's a couple games between them and the Thunder, and then a couple games between them and third place. They might not have anything to play for. You might see, Wemby go out there because you've got I think he can only miss one more game to hit that 65-game threshold. So he'll probably play, but the team as a whole might not have much to play for. Rockets are pretty up and down. So depending on motivation levels, because those are the last 4 or 5 games of the season, you might be able to catch them. Those might be easier games than you would think looking on paper, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So if you can get at least one of these next 2, you're in a pretty good spot.
Charlotte has 10 games left on their schedule as well. They play New York tomorrow at home. 6 home games, 4 on the road. But when you look at their schedule, only 2 non-playoff contending teams.
Right.
They are Brooklyn and Indiana. The Sixers play on Saturday in Charlotte. It's a back-to-back for the Hornets, where they have the Celtics on the second night of the back-to-back. So you know how that's going to go.
Yep.
They beat the Sixers and then they lose to the Boston Celtics. But so then they have Brooklyn away, Phoenix and Indiana at home. That's a back-to-back Thursday, Friday. Then they go on the road for Minnesota and Boston, April 5th, April 7th. Detroit at home, second to last game, and then they're at New York on Sunday. And the way things are going with New York and Boston right now, New York is gonna have to play. So that's not gonna be one of those, to your point of resting with the Spurs. Charlotte's not gonna be able to rest anybody. I mean, New York's not gonna be able to rest anybody against Charlotte. So every game matters for the Charlotte Hornets going forward, just like they do for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, no, I expect Charlotte to come out there and play great basketball. And quite frankly, with the way the Sixers got absolutely destroyed last time, I'm hoping they get up for this one too. Because that was a point where the Sixers were still mostly healthy. Obviously, there was the whole travel thing and the game start time changing and all that weirdness. But I'm hoping they come out pretty motivated to right that wrong.
Real fast, are you rooting for the Knicks tomorrow?
Who's the Knicks playing?
Charlotte.
I can never root for the Knicks.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Just curious.
Look, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you want in life, but you can never. If it's in the playoffs, then I might be able to put Devon over my own personal hatred, but not now. No, it's just not important enough.
As far as the Heat game on Monday,
okay.
The Heat play in Indiana on Sunday.
Okay.
It is a 5 o'clock start time.
It's a back-to-back.
Back-to-back.
But they might be able to have that game wrapped up by the second quarter.
They could. And it's a 5 o'clock start time in Indianapolis. So just wanted to make sure I cleared that up. And they also have Washington twice on their schedule due to Miami Heat. But they have revenge on their mind. 83 hung on Washington.
You have to be talented enough to get revenge, though, Devon. And
they want to stay in that top so you can get one of those picks for these young guys. So yeah, man, really good win. Bree, you have 51 again. Third quarter woes for the Sixers all season long. 51 points. 51 points in the third quarter for the Sixers.
They're trying to fix that point differential in one outing.
51. But it didn't help that they gave up 53 in the fourth. But I don't know. Fantastic return for the Sixers, Joel Embiid and Paul George. It was great to see them out there. We'll catch up with Kyle on Saturday, as all of us will be, or Friday for the 3 p.m. show. We'll all be here Friday and Saturday. We thank you all for hanging out with us tonight as the Sixers, once again, final score, 157-137, total domination over the Chicago Bulls. Wasn't even close. 35 for Embiid, 28 for Paul George in their returns, 22 for VJ Edgecombe, and some really good role player performances from Dominick Barlow, Adembona, Payne. So nice to see everybody back for the Sixers. Next up, now we wait for Kelly Oubre and for Tyrese Maxey. We are off on Thursday, back on Friday at 3 p.m. If you want something to check out of us, go check out our conversation with Tyrone Garland of the LaSalle Explorers, the fourth all-time leading scorer in public league history in Philadelphia, only behind, Wilt Chamberlain, Mo Rice, and I think it was Watson that's right in front of him.
Well, because he passed him after.
He did.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. So he passed him. So Ty is fourth. Go check out our conversation on our PHLY Sports YouTube page and check out our talks as Sweet 16 gets underway tomorrow. And the Phillies, of course, get started tomorrow afternoon against the Texas Rangers. So check out that video on our day off. We'll see you at 3 p.m. on Friday. But before we say a complete goodnight, it's time for the world famous. Yes, Gene Ross, I see it. Roll call.
I did, after you reminded me, I did try to go back and did a little bit of scrolling. So I have a couple of names down. Started off with Black Moses. And, of course, Eugene Ross, as always.
What up, Gene?
Say what?
Say what?
Rick Morse.
Ricky.
Alden Network. X-Man, very active in the chat. Whole lot of debate going on with
in
the
there,
X. Winona. Ray Need. Kyle Wright. Mr. James, also very active.
Very active, James. What up, James?
T. Burl, Sir
Shmooey,
Kyle P. and Sam F. Tom Jackson, J-Word Guitar, Jazz Graham,
Jazzy,
EJ Barrett, Jack Reacher. I know.
Jack Reacher, season 4.
Okay.
Have us as part of the now TV series since we can't get in the movie. Ready for Jack Reacher.
In terms of super chats, I know we had Riaz and K. Fergie.
EJ and Skunk.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
that's the full list. So that is all that I have there. Appreciate every one of you.
Rich P in there too. I saw Rich. What up, Rich?
Appreciate all of you that I missed as well, but I ran out of scrolling. So one of these days I'll remember in the first half of the show to start jotting down names. But today is not going to be that day.
It's all right.
Today's not going to be that day.
James, Ricky, Gene, everybody, Rich, Jazzy, Nona. Good to see everybody. Nona, I saw Val in there earlier too.
I did see Val in there. That's a good point. Yeah.
So everybody, thank you so much. It's always easy after a win, especially when you get the super chat saying, you know what? It's a lot easier, K. Fergie.
It's a lot easier.
When you have a 40-point lead in the fourth quarter and nothing to really worry about. No more of these close games. We can do without those. We had enough of those crunch time and clutch games all season long.
It's also good, all right, so a lot of the scoreboard watching tonight didn't work out in our favor. None of it did, actually. But I will take this scoreboard watching over the scoreboard watching we were doing at this time last year anytime.
Anytime you hang out with us, it always makes us feel better. We thank you. Hit the like button while you're in there and on your way out. Like and subscribe to the show. Tell everybody about the Sixers, the PHLY Sixers podcast.
And about the PHLY Phillies podcast.
And the Phillies and the new merchandise. Yep. All great. Great time tomorrow to go to the ballpark with 70-degree weather. We'll be there. Hopefully we see you all. Just stop us, say what's up. We'll, hang out and talk some basketball and some baseball, all the good stuff. But as you do so, when you hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show, hit the bell icon. That'll alert you that it is, in fact, showtime as we are gearing up for a 9-game regular season stretch and seeding purposes in the Eastern Conference to find out where they will be in the postseason, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, because they're going to be somewhere. Milwaukee's not jumping over anybody, and certainly not the Chicago Bulls. So we will be with you all for the entirety of the playoff run. For Bree and Kyle at the arena, Kyle there. Bree doing a great job as always with all the great graphics. I even like the new graphic on the side with the stats of the player and the photo. Bree, she's fantastic, everybody. Hit the like button for Bree. She is always the MVP. And for Derek, I'm Devon. We'll see you on Friday, 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.